extremist Sony fanboys, or cult boys, I think is what we ought to call them, because that's what they act like a lot of times. They have created a petition to have the only negative review of Uncharted 4 removed from Metacritic. And normally I don't pay any attention to these idiotic petitions. Usually they only have like 5 or 10 people who actually sign them. But by the time that I upload this video, there will have been over 6,000 cucks who have signed this. And it was even promoted by one of the voice actors in Uncharted 4, which to me is even more pathetic. So the review in question is from the Washington Post, who gave the game a 4 out of 10 and said that this 4-part series should have ended after part 1, which is a bit harsh, and the reviewer made it clear that he thought the game was more flash and less substance. There was plenty of pretty things to look at, but he didn't like the storyline, which others have also criticized because they said, in previous games there was no mention of Nathan's brother, and then all of a sudden here he is, and like the plot revolves around him. And so other people have criticized that, it gets slowed during certain parts of the game. Whatever. Some people put more emphasis on gameplay, like myself, and other people put a lot of emphasis on story. And it's really hard to argue with somebody about, their opinion, because that's what it is. Regardless, the cult boys have taken up their pitchforks and demanded that this opinion be removed because, one, they don't agree with the opinion, and they're also worried that it's going to bring down Uncharted's Metacritic score, which, it means so much. It must really suck to be a cut gamer and have to sit there and worry about, review score points and counting grass, and makes you kind of wonder how much actual time they actually spend playing games. So here's the petition they have submitted. Quote, "I'm sorry, but when having too much detail became a bad thing, this reviewer is out of his mind. I believe U4 is one of the greatest games ever created, and it is my personal favorite for sure, although I can justify some reviewers giving it a 9 or an 8. But this is a utter disgrace. Gene, because you were the only respectable staff that responded to this nonsense, you should remove this review fro the Metacritic and post a new, sensible one that can justify its existence. Your Washington Post, for Christ's sake, not a 12-year-old's diary," which is actually what this sounds like. "Treat the game with professionalism and respect." He ends by saying, "This guy doesn't deserve to be taken seriously by big crucial sites like Metacritic. It harms the flawless reputation of the game for absolutely no reason." What can you say? Uncharted 4, it has a flawless reputation. It's been getting like 11s out of 10. And here this guy comes along and he doesn't think that it's flawless. He says a review is not about what you think a game is. It's about what a game is. Objective measures are applied. Now, I would almost like to pass this off as, a troll article, because that's almost what it sounds like. And it would be funny if it wasn't so damn sad. Now, some of the people are trying to actually justify this witch hunt by proclaiming that the original Washington Post article didn't have a score. So they came up with the conspiracy that Metacritic must have just, auto-assigned one. Well, it didn't have a score. Let's just put down, a 4 out of 10. But Forbes actually did what, normal journalists, normal people would do whenever they want an answer to a question. They reached out to the reviewer and the Washington Post, who said they actually did submit this score, that they don't put scores on their own pages for editorial purposes. That's just, the rule that they have, that they don't go by the numbers. But the original reviewer who was writing this article, he did submit a number. So they went on ahead and submitted that to Metacritic. So, and this guy, he's not just some basement dweller who's never reviewed a game before. He's actually worked at several prominent sites. He's worked for IGN. He's freelanced on a number of high-profile publications. But this really goes back to a video that I did a few weeks ago about how dumb review scores are. They mean literally nothing because they're numbers pulled out of thin air. IGN, for instance, gave Doom a 7.1. Okay, so do you think that it takes some fancy school degree, some supercomputer algorithm to come up with that analysis where they got the 0.1 added to the 7? And just look at over the last few weeks. Last week they put out a review in progress for Uncharted 4 where they had it at something like an 8.8. And people were going apeshit because they didn't just give it a 9. And so now, magically, it's a 9 on IGN, which actually sounds to me more like they caved to pressure rather than actually, really buying into their own BS review score. And I've mentioned before, you've got some of these people reviewing games in genres that they don't even like. I posted up a short clip on my Twitter feed earlier this week that you might have seen from Polygon playing Doom. And this was taken from their live stream, and it looked like somebody had given a 4-year-old a controller. They had no idea what they were doing. I mean, it was really pathetic. And then these are the people that you're going crazy over at their actual review scores. So some of these people may not even be real gamers. Some of them may hate the genres that they're actually having to review at that point in time. Some of them may just be reading other people's reviews and then saying, well, everybody loves it. Well, I'm going to write, a really good review as well because I just want to fit into the crowd. So you don't know these people. That's why I just always say, just take in the information that you get. You can go watch gameplay videos and know more about a game than you will reading somebody's review of it, probably. Scoring does absolutely nothing because, one, we're dealing with a lot of mentally inept people here who can't read or comprehend anything in an article other than the headline or the review score. And it even happens here on my videos. People will read a headline, they'll read a title, which is simply meant to get you to be interested in it, and then they'll automatically start commenting and jumping off to conclusions that has nothing to do with what the video was about. And so people are retarded. Review scores give you the illusion that you can compare most games side by side and that there's like some sort of science to it. And there's not. Most games can't be compared. You can't compare a 9 for Ratchet & Clank and say that that's equal to a 9 for Red Dead Redemption. You can't take a 9 for Rocket League and it doesn't mean that it equals a 9 for Skyrim or GTA. These are all completely different games, completely different experiences, and you're trying to use and embrace one flawed system that allows people to rate their opinions. And if you're going to embrace that system, then you best be prepared to accept ratings and opinions from those who you don't agree with. Because it's no different than social justice warriors preaching tolerance for everybody and then bashing and being intolerant of people who don't hold the same viewpoints as them. They're tolerant as long as you've got the same brainwashing as they do. So, as much as I dislike review scores, and I think, they're pretty pointless, pun intended, I dislike even more the idea that you're going to have one negative review score removed and try to censor an opinion that you don't agree with. And that's exactly what this is, plain and simple. It's about censorship and trying to hide thoughts and beliefs that you yourself don't hold. And it's like the ultimate herd mentality. And these people certainly do appear to have the mindset of some dumb animal. My advice is play the game. And if you enjoy it, then it doesn't matter one bit what other people think about it. I've enjoyed plenty of games that had terrible Metacritic score. And then I've played games that had awesome Metacritic scores that I walked away with thinking they were complete dog shit. So try thinking for yourself for once. Try forming your own opinions and stop trying to silence those who disagree with you. Grow the fuck up.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.